Okay, at this point we should now have the two wall assemblies completed. We should have the back end assembly complete and the front end assembly complete, as so far we've gone through this video. Now the next stage is, this is to help you along again. Take your wall sections. In the corners, all four corners of both wall sections, or the two corners, this one and the other, we want to put another T-bolt with a nut on it and leave it loose. This will assist us shortly in the assembly of the unit to one of the ends. First thing we're going to do now is we're going to position one wall to the back end assembly. Now on all four corners, what we're going to do on this corner, it's exactly the same. We just follow the same procedure. First of all, the bolt that we put into the corner on the bottom of the sill, you set that in position, then you'll lift the back end assembly up and drop it over that bolt onto the slot. And it should just sit straight in there, like that. Now this is the only position you need it on the assembly of the greenhouse, but you're going to need a 7/16 open-ended wrench, just to, again, snug these bolts up. Because they're so tight in proximity, it's easier to do it that way. Now that one is positioned. Now we move to the top. To try and give you a better view, I'm going to try and do this from the outside. First thing we do is, the bolt that we put in to secure that side brace, we're going to move now. We're going to take it out of there. Let the bolt come out. We'll move the brace up out of the way. Now we've got to slide the side wall with a flange to the inside into the bracket, like so. Now where you put the bolts in, the vertical, when it was on the ground, and now you can move those in and they will drop down into the slot. We lock that one up. Now with regards to the one we put in down here on the side, we need to move that up. We're going to take the nut off it. It might be easier if you put a piece of tape or something further down. Now we've got that there. What we need to do is to make sure the wall comes in. Push that wall up into the slot again. Position the side brace over the top of it and secure it with the nut. Now it wants to be snug again, it doesn't want to be too tight, because the thing may not be quite square to where we want it. The other thing you might come across is you might have trouble getting it in to those two corners. If that happens, undo the bolts on your brackets, slacken them up and let this move around a little bit, slide it in, drop the top bolt down in first and nip it up. It makes it easier because your box wrench, if it's a large one like this, it can tend to catch on the edge of the side brace. And nip that one in first, then bring your bottom one up. Again, as I say, use a bit of tape or something just to stop that bolt dropping down, because if it drops right down to the bottom, they're a terrible job to get back up. Once that's done, you can just nip up all your brackets again, tighten up all your bolts, and you're ready to move on to the next part of the installation is to install the ridge. This is the ridge section. What we've got here is these two parts of the pieces that made in with the end. These two here are what I used as the hinge for the roof vents when we come to put them in. We'll go through that later. Now what we've done here is the same as we did with the sides and the ends. We've done some preliminary work by installing the T-bolts with nuts on all the way down. Just loose again, like we did before. Okay, next thing is we're going to install the ridge to the sidewall, to the end, what you'll do is you'll take the ridge, put it in between the gap, just like we did with the sidewalls, and just slide it to the back. Then, with the two bolts that we put in here, we slacken that nut off, move them up into position, and slide them up and lock them in place. Follow the same procedure at the other end. That puts your ridge in place. And we're now ready to move on and put the roof glazing bars in place. The glazing bars for the roof, we put the bolts in that we had in earlier. It's simple, we just slot the T-bolt into that slot in the bar. With our box wrench, keep it up. Come down to the bottom. And literally just put the screw into the hole. Now when you tighten it up, pull the gutter in the glazing bar. Hold it in position. That keeps it all nice and taut. It will give you a nice smooth line down the side of your greenhouse when you complete it. Okay.